I found an old game in the attic the other day. It was called Cloverland. A weird name for a game, I thought. Cloverland. I googled what it meant, and after a long search of exactly 5 minutes, I knew what it was. Cloverland was a continent that existed a long time ago, but one day it was engulfed into the Pacific Ocean, and no trace of that continent has been seen ever since. I didn't know how this game ended up in my attic, but I knew I had to play it. I showed it to my friends at school, where one of them found its official rules. He read them out, and they were like this. The objective of this game is to cover maximum number of countries in the least distance possible. A country is considered to be covered when a player passes by or stays on its capital. Each capital is represented by a violet colored stone and is numbered to keep track of the countries that the player has covered. Every player starts off from his or her respective positive terminal with 10 units of fuel. A player can move up to a distance of 6 blocks in one turn, and moving each block costs the player 1 unit of fuel. Moving one block is equivalent to moving 100 kilometers. A player can use the bridge to move from one part of the board to another, but it costs 3 units of fuel and adds 3 units to the total distance covered by the player. A player can also use magnets to move from one part of the board to another. The magnets are shown by the letters N and S. A player on the north pole of a magnet gets teleported to the south pole of the same magnet. The two poles of a magnet are shown by the same color. Using a magnet costs the player 2 units of fuel, but no units of distance are added to the player's statistics. A player can refuel at any of the gas stations where he or she will be asked a question. On answering correctly, the player would be awarded with 5 units of fuel, else the player is given only 2 units of fuel. A player can also gain 2 units of fuel by ending his or her turn on a capital. Any player in his turn can strike off any other player from his or her position. The player who has been stroked off is sent back to where he or she started, and his or her fuel is refilled, but the rest of the player's statistics remain the same. The players complete a special task when they reach the negative terminal of their respective color they started from. Upon reaching the negative terminal, the player becomes invincible and cannot be stroked off by the other players. A player is out of the game if he or she does not have any fuel left. The game goes on until one player remains, who becomes the winner, or till 15 rounds of turns are played. In this case, the player with the most number of countries covered is the winner. In case of a tie, the player with lesser distance covered is considered to be the winner. Now that we all knew the rules, the only thing left to do was to play this game.